What's up guys, alexy1 here, playing Endless Fighter 2188. GM from the USA it seems. We're gonna play the Benko Gambit, and he accepts it. This is all just mainstream theory. I'll pre-move that. There are two main choices here, e4 and g3. e4 being the classical, well, that can transpose to either or both. So g3. Yeah, okay, so this is the Fiend Shadow. And I play knight fd7 here. This knight is coming to c4, which just somewhat annoys all white's pieces. Rook b1 is a normal move. Queen c2 is a normal move now as well. So the next move I'm gonna play knight c4. I want to exchange this bishop if I can. He won't let me. So I don't know this. It's a bit strange, this position, but whatever, we'll just develop. Knight d2 as well. So I can play knight takes b2 here. Because if he plays queen c2, we either have bishop takes c3, maybe we just have knight c4 back. Not too sure about. I think if he plays queen c2, I'll play knight c4. So we're not a pawn down anymore. This a pawn is a bit weak, so we're somewhat better here. This e2 pawn as well is pretty weak, so let's just get out of the way. I'm gonna play maybe queen c7 or rook b8. He's giving me something else. So he's just blundering left and right. Yeah. So I don't think this is a very interesting game. So let's see, just really quick. You went for this, yeah. This is all just pretty normal stuff here. And this just loses. Yeah, so wait. So what should he have done? Let's see. A fun thing to mention here is knight c3. And there are some nice lines here. So this is old theory. And this was the best move actually. You take on e4 and you could just go back. And this knight is a bit odd here. So white is planning to go, if we take here, I think he's planning to go queen e2 here. And if you play f5, you have f3. And if you play knight f6, you have knight takes c6. This is just horrid. So, but g5 here is also a move, it seems. Yeah, I remember something like this. I thought it was okay for white, but I'm not too sure. Anyhow, that's something you have to know here. If you're playing black, you have to play g5 and knight f6 back, and this pawn is just falling. And if he goes queen e2, we just have rook a6 defending this. We're just gonna go bishop g7 castle, and in the future maybe sometime we'll play bishop d7 and just attack this pawn, this knight here on b5. d5 is very weak, so anyhow he took. So this is just flexible, but we have a lot of flexible moves here as well. We can play either d6 or bishop g7, doesn't really matter. So this is the classical, and now the king goes to g2, and so here knight fd7 isn't such a good idea. Knight b7 is just way more solid, so play continues something like this. The queen can either go to a5 or b6. It's a totally different game, but yeah. So he's playing the Fiend Shadow, and we don't want a castle just yet. We'll just wait for white to make some moves, and we want to get this knight to c4 as quickly as possible. So rook b1 is very normal, but bishop d2 isn't. Queen c2 I thought was the main move. And knight c4 is the idea then, because if you play b3 we have queen a5. And play can continue with this. And I thought you should play bishop b5 here. Yeah. So takes, and you've got some pressure against this a pawn. We're just gonna castle, play knight e5 or f6, and play this bishop back. And then we're just gonna press on the a pawn. So white is a pawn up, but nothing too shabby. Yeah. So that's the main point here. White can also go knight d2. After which I sometimes play this, but I'm not too sure if it's correct or not, because you have bishop d2 I thought. And just b3. However, black still has pressure against either a2, e2. Sometimes you just go back to either b6 or c7 and just move your other rook to b8. But yeah, this is quite interesting. There's also one trick which I'm trying to remember right now. I thought it wasn't with rook b1 here, but it's when he plays queen c2, knight d8, yeah, and b3, just to get this bishop to b2. You can either take there or take there. Those are tricks you have to watch out for. And if he goes rook d1, castle, and then he goes b3, we have to take here. Yeah, because queen takes bishop takes c3 and knight takes bishop takes a1 obviously. So you're fine here as well. So rook b1. Yeah, and bishop d2 just isn't the ideal square for the bishop. Yeah. Knight c4 just seems so natural. The one thing is though, because we always want to play queen e5 here, but that just feels a bit wrong because of this bishop here. But maybe it was possible even, I don't know. The engine suggests knight a4. Yeah, queen b5. It's all a bit, yeah, strange. White can easily play knight c3 back as well, and we don't want to draw, so whatever. Castle seems very fine, and b3 seems like a very normal move. I was planning to go knight a3, and then we have either knight b5 or just, yeah, just press against this maybe, because we can also play something like this, because e4 is just a bit strange here, because you can go back and knight e2 has to be played. So b3, knight a3, rook c1, bishop b7 is actually a pretty fancy idea. Maybe he can go bishop d2. Yeah, I only want to take on c3 if I can win a pawn back. Otherwise I'm weakening my king, but it seems this is somewhat winning a pawn. Because if we exchange this bishop it's fine obviously, because the dark squares around my king aren't as bad. So this is an option maybe. However, he went for knight d2, and now we just have the simple knight takes b2. If he goes queen b3, we have either rook b8 or queen a5. Queen a5 is the fancier move. Knight e4 maybe, and then just knight c4. Black is better. And if he goes queen c2, I was planning to go knight c4. The engine keeps wanting to play this. Yeah, I don't really like this. Even though the engine says it's -1. I think playing knight c4 is just positionally more sound. If he takes, we just take back. And this bishop is very strong here actually, because if he attacks it with the knight, with a knight move, like queen in knight e4. You just have bishop takes a2. So he's doing pretty well here. Can also play queen c7 and rook b8. He took back though. Yeah, I just want to get out of the way here. Seems like a normal way to go. Yeah, and this is just terrible. I don't really know what went on in his head here. I guess he just missed bishop take e2. Knight e4 is a pretty move maybe because you want to play bishop c3. Also knight, well, no, not, yeah. This bishop is just a problem here. It's just, yeah. All white's pieces are a bit, yeah, defensive. Don't have a lot of space. So knight e4 just to get some pieces loose. He wants to play bishop c4, which I agree with. a4 maybe. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that as well. I've got a new keyboard, so sometimes things happen, which I have no control over. So queen c8. Yeah, I think white is a bit worse here, but yeah, it's not really much. Maybe queen a6. Attacking both there and there. Yeah, black's definitely better here. However, if you when he plays queen e2, yeah, just taking in e2, winning a pawn and also winning in this change. I'd resign here too, I guess. But I'd resign because I would have been very frustrated with myself. So yeah, that was it. Short video. See you guys. Bye bye.